wait all up a minute. I think that I'm feeling sick from all the
Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Allie if you're new, and today I'm going to be reading a friend recommendation. I feel like I challenge myself a lot year to year with reading, anywhere from doing 24 and 2024 or 25 and 2025. You guys can check out that recent video, to book clubs and random challenges within the book clubs like the buzzword and maybe a book bingo. I tend to do quite a few every year, but every year it's always somebody else's book club, somebody else's book bingo. And while this is kind of still the same ordeal, I'm not the first person to do this. I reached out to 12 different people, friends of mine in real life, IRL, also friends I've never met in person on the internet, and also friends within book clubs and stuff that I've gotten to know over the past 6 months or so. I wanted to have a wide variety of people, and although it once again is not really my thing because I'm taking recommendations from other people, it still kind of feels like my thing where I get to do it at my own pace. And my goal is to read one friend recommendation every single month for the entire year. If you're watching this and you're one of those friends who I messaged and asked for a book, I apologize if yours is like in December, but I am planning on having a whole video for each one of these recommendations, and more than likely they will be spoil free. So if it is a book that you are hoping to get to, you can still enjoy these videos with maybe some of my reactions, but not so much being spoiled on why I'm reacting the way that I am. I definitely want this to be enjoyable for each person who recommended me a book so that they can see how I'm vibing and how I'm feeling with said book, but also because I love buddy reading and it doesn't always happen. So it's so nice to read a friend's favorite and to be able to share our opinions and talk about it together. So I will make sure I circle back with each of them after I have read their book, even if it's 12 months from now. And while all of these videos are going to be set up a little differently, today is going to be my end of the month weekend vlog for you guys reading my friend's pick. But some friends gave me options. So that means we're gonna have to do some taste testing with the reading of their options, and have maybe just fun with different books around different holidays or whatever I have going on during that time of the year when I'm reading their books. I'm gonna try to switch it up quite a bit. But I'm so excited to start this series with you guys, and I hope you enjoy. I know some of these might not be your friends, but I'm hoping that I can still shout them out in a way that you can go and find them, unless they are more my personal life. But for this first one, this is my friend Jess, and I feel pretty comfortable being able to shout her out because she is very public with her book reviews. So I will have her links down below. She posts on Goodreads, Instagram, and I believe some on TikTok, and even some on Threads. So you guys can go check out her links down below, but she is also a IRL friend. Like, we hang out together. We actually hung out tonight, and I was super excited to get to her pick this month. It just so happened to come in at my library, so I was able to fit it into my end of January. Jess is kind of an all over the place reader. I feel like she does have her certain niche that she enjoys. She reads a lot of Frida McFadden. She reads a lot of literary fiction, sad girl literary fiction. But she gets into a fantasy mood and sticks with it like no other and is ride or die for her series. And we just so happen to match up very, very well when it comes to our horror. I thought she would probably recommend me a horror, but she decided to go more unhinged. This is also my friend who went with me to meet Grady Hendrix for his new Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. That vlog will also be coming very soon. This one will probably be before that, but she picked Big Swiss for me. She's been telling me since last year that this is a book that we need to read. And we, I mean me and our other friend who do kind of a casual book club together where we'll do beer ping pong to figure out what book we're gonna read together next, and that type of ordeal. And we've done, I feel like, a few now, and every single time she always puts Big Swiss in the mix, and it just never lands on Big Swiss. So it is now her time to shine. This is by Jen Beagin, if I'm saying that correctly. This is about Greta, who lives with her friend Sabine in an ancient Dutch farmhouse in Hudson, New York. The house is unrenovated, uninsulated, and full of bees. Greta spends her days transcribing therapy sessions for a sex coach who calls himself Ohm. She becomes infatuated with his newest client, a repressed married woman she affectionately refers to as Big Swiss. Greta is fascinated by Big Swiss's refreshing attitude towards trauma. They both have dark histories, but Big Swiss chooses to remain unattached to her suffering while Greta continues to be tormented by her past. I have started my journey today, so I thought I would take you guys back to where it all started.
I'm feeling sick from all this automatic driving to your house. I'm gonna die in LA traffic, watch me crash my fucking car into your couch. Don't wanna finish up this episode before you cut me out. I'm still done cause I'm way. You can never take me. I'm just living life, I guess a bottle wouldn't break me. Thinking about 1,000 reasons why you probably hate me. And if you pull that, I'll be your biggest fan, shoulda, coulda.
So while I am hoping to fit in a bath at some point today, because I know that Jessica is all about self-care, so I'm wanting to spend my day doing some things that I know she enjoys doing. And while I don't plan on doing this in every single one of these videos, doing the things that the friend enjoys or likes, I thought it'd be perfect for hers because I know some of the things she likes and kind of wanted this to be a day in the life type of video, whereas some of my other ones, I have other ideas for them as well. So just in case I'm not able to get to a bath later, we're gonna do some self-care, and my form of self-care is my skincare. I love taking care of my skin, and I woke up with quite a few breakouts around my chin. My current go-to like clay clearing mask is this one from No Beauty. It is their Glacial Bay Clay Mask, and it's just really been working with my sensitive skin. And I am literally down to the bottom of the barrel. I am about to start Big Swiss, but I dropped Axel off at school today, and then I came home and I crashed and I took a nap. I was up so late journaling and doing some other stuff last night that I crashed when I got home and took a nap. So that's what I've spent most of my morning doing, which I think Jess would appreciate. But I'm ready to jump into the book, but I'm also, it's January 31st. I was debating on putting this video back a little bit because of the fact that like one of my goals, my reading goals for this month was to read at least 20 books, and I have not accomplished that. So I was like, I might need to use the last day as like a cramming vlog or like some type of like cramming situation, but I feel like almost every book I'm reading right now is like set for a video. So it just really wouldn't make sense, or I would be just overworking myself today. So instead, I thought I would just continue on with the day like I had planned, because I really wanted to do at least one friend video every month, and I am on my last day of January, so it is time to get it in. I'm gonna look a little scary here for a little bit as this starts drying down. But yeah, my goal is to obviously get Big Swiss in, but besides Big Swiss, I think I need 3 more books to make it 20 books for January. And I just so happened to get a package this morning. I placed an order with Shortwave Publishing because I really wanted a copy of Nat Cassidy's Rest Stop. And you guys, this came with not only this insanely amazing bookmark. But I also got this one that has like some of their other books through Shortwave that I actually do want to get to because I like McLeod Chapman too. But it also came with like a place card, like a signed one from Nat Cassidy. And it's like a sticker, so like I can stick it in the book or stick it in my journal. So cool. And Googly Eyes, of course. If you've read this, then you know. And then I ordered these. Honestly, I did not know what to expect because these two from Nat Cassidy, I think were like $6 a piece. And then the McLeod Chapman ones, I got like, I want to say for like 14, like all together. There's 3 of them. But I don't know. I think that they're cool, but I also feel like it's, I don't know. I kind of wish that they had, like, I would have paid, like, the extra amount to just, like, have a, you know, paperback feel to it, even if they are slim, you know? But anyways, my friend Jess loves Nat Cassidy as well. So I was thinking about maybe trying to get to his Catacomb series, book 1 and 2 today, because I mean they're so short. And then maybe one of these. Yeah, this is number 1, so I guess this one. As just kind of like fillers and like little extra reviews for this video, although the main focus is Big Swiss. I just thought it would be kind of cool to include these so that I can finish out my 20 books for January. And these two definitely are kind of like really cool to put in this video since she is a big fan of Nat Cassidy too.
You can never take me. I'm just living life, I guess a bottle wouldn't break me. Thinking about 1,000 reasons why you probably hate me. And if you pull up, I'll be your biggest fan, shoulda, coulda. I'm thinking about the past.
So I have a few minutes to check in before the girls come over. One of them being Jess. But I wanted to check in because earlier I did finish Generation, a short story by Nat Cassidy. This is his first one, and these are literally like 16 pages. You know, like they're like under 20 pages. So I thought I would just read the back to you guys, but it says, when expecting a new baby, it's normal to have questions. What will my baby look like? What if I'm not ready? What if it's not human? What if this is happening all over? What if this is the end of the world? When expecting a new baby, it's normal to be scared. And it dives into the talk of abortion, of course, with this couple coming in and wanting to have an abortion, but it goes so much deeper than that, and what has happened to the world and where it's at now and what babies are turning into. It was quite the time. I gave it 5 stars. And since I've left you guys, I have made it about there. And I am going to stick spoiler-free for this vlog, but I wanted to be able to share, I guess, a little bit about how I'm feeling with it. And what I will say is I'm really enjoying the writing a lot. I read part of it earlier. I honestly think I prefer the audiobook because it's like a full cast. It's not super overwhelming. It's just, I feel like done in a really good way. Like it's so entertaining and enjoyable that I'm really loving the cast because of the different voices. And again, I'm able to listen at my normal speed for me. And yeah, just really enjoying all the different voices and everybody who is in, you know, the audiobook cast with it. It is definitely unhinged. We are following this woman, Greta, who is working as like a transcriber for a sex therapist. So pretty much she is listening in to all of the unhinged recordings of sessions with the sex therapist and his clients, and you have just off the wall conversations of literally anything. But the one that she's most drawn to is Big Swiss. Not only is talking about the fact that she's never had an orgasm, but she also is delving deeper into her past trauma, being attacked. And so there's a lot of talk with that. And also I feel like a lot of shedding light on the fact that like this therapist guy is overstepping his boundary, the boundary he should have, so many times. And even Greta, being the transcriber, is like pausing during like transcribing, being like, oh my god, just shut up, let her talk, or why would you say that? Like, I feel like we're really being able to just slice up those moments and see like how wrong it is the way that this woman is being treated. This woman is also a gynecologist, so she's talking to him about like endo and like other things that women are diagnosed with that can make, you know, sex and other things really uncomfortable, and just life uncomfortable in general when it's your period and everything. And he's just like, what is that? And it's like, you're a sex therapist and you don't know this? There's a lot of talk around that, and so far I'm really liking it. I don't really know what to expect moving forward. I don't know if it's just going to be this type of almost like literary fiction with just kind of diving more into these characters, their personalities, and maybe a relationship between them blooming a little bit. I don't know. I really don't know what to expect. I'm enjoying it. It is kind of reading like a, it's reminding me a little bit of Ripe, although it's nowhere near the same story. It's just kind of like writing style, kind of being in the head of somebody, just their day-to-day life, what they're experiencing, what their work life is like. It reminds me a lot of that. Maybe even some of like Eileen, although I didn't like Eileen and I am enjoying this one a lot. It's just kind of that same literary fiction vibe. But yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes, if it's gonna get even more unhinged. I think just the whole job in general is such an unhinged job where you're gonna hear all kinds of wild things that it's gonna be a journey. But that is my check-in. I don't know if I'm gonna check in with you guys again tonight or not, but if not, I will tomorrow. Quick check-in because Jess just left. We kind of just had a really casual night. We ended up not really doing any like hobbies. I did complete one more granny square for a project I'm working on. But besides that, we had what we call a rot night, where we literally just rot on the couch and talk while our kids run around and play. So I don't have much to report on the night, but once she left, I read not one but two more of these. I'm really liking them, and that's no shade to Big Swiss. I'm really excited to get back into it. I just know once I pick this book back up, I'm gonna be sucked in until I finish. So to hit my 20 books for January, I was like, let's just get it done now. So I read The Art of What You Want by Nat Cassidy. I gave this one 4 stars. It was good, but I did like his other one a little bit more. The back of this one says, Harris is facing some pretty serious problems. His tech company is in trouble, his beloved wife is dead, and his house is haunted by her ghost. He's pretty certain the stress might be making him lose his mind, but it's not hopeless. He has a best friend, a sympathetic ear, a ton of money, and an expensive whiskey. He also has a keen sense of business. He knows there's always a deal waiting to be made, no matter how horrifying the compromises might be. I loved 75% of this, but the last 25% of it, while unhinged and I enjoyed it, I didn't want some of that to be what it was. I kind of wanted it to stay on course. It definitely has the twist factor in it, and I think it would be loved by many, but I am landing at a 4 with that one. But then I went ahead and read, almost hit myself, Mama Bird. This is by McLeod Chapman. I ordered a few of his, so short, but this one, it says, Mama Bird is the dark and unsettling tale of a young picky eater and the desperate mother willing to do anything to feed her child. It's unhinged. I was like, what? 5 stars. I enjoyed it. And with that being said, I'm going to curl up and read more of Big Swiss. I'm hoping to make through at least over halfway, maybe like 75%, so that I can still count it towards, like, I know it's not a big deal, but I still like want to count it towards my January reads, even if I have to finish it tomorrow. but I'm thinking about finishing out my like chill self-care Jess inspired vlog day tomorrow, doing those things while wrapping this up and giving you guys my thoughts then. Change of plans today. We are actually going out of town, just making a day trip. I'm hoping to do a little bit of book shopping, which I know Jessica would also enjoy. Wouldn't everybody? But also just some family time. I am so close to finishing this. We are about to go out the door. Hi. I am overall liking the writing style. I see why it is such a loved like literary fiction, with also like those unhinged moments. But I feel like with this type of book, you pretty much know that there's going to be unhinged moments with the whole job aspect. There definitely is little like quirks to these characters that make them extra unhinged with like their dark past and like what they've been through and that type of ordeal. And the fact that the main girl, Greta, like they literally have a beehive in their basement. I mean, there's like little things like that that it's just like, what? There's also a lot of descriptions about these dogs that are constantly like biting legs or like kissing. And like one person has a dog that literally full on like French kisses them. Like there's just really weird, quirky, unhinged moments. But with that being said, I don't know how I am like feeling about this. It definitely is a queer awakening and it gets very sexual, very explicit, and I'm starting to feel like the whole book is just like that is the plot, where it's just like I was really enjoying the aspects of it where like this girl, obviously like she is so like obsessed with Flavia, Big Swiss, but like I was also really enjoying the other clips that she would like have to transcribe and hear about, and then she would like go out on the town like to the bar or something and be like bump into somebody and they would say something to her like rude, and in her head she's sitting there thinking like, okay, but like you haven't had sex in 6 months, or like it wasn't even that, but it was like commenting on like their sex life and knowing that like so many people in her town go to this therapist and she transcribes for him and nobody knows it. So it's like she knows everybody's sex life. And I'm like, I really wish it would have like dived more into that and been unhinged in that direction and like had more of a pull with the story into all of those than what we're getting. I'm just not overly obsessed with Big Swiss like Greta is. I feel like it's just a really weird dynamic, and as it continues, I'm just like kind of losing interest, unfortunately. But I'm going to wrap it up today in the car, and still hoping to do like a self-care night tonight. It is Imbolc, one of the holidays of like the year will, and so I'm hoping to also celebrate that some too. So yeah, I'll take you guys along with me.
I've been thinking about topics to talk about, to sort it out and make it right in my head. Now that it's been longer, know that I was wrong for thinking that you always had a place in my. Is this what I had in mind? 25 million years, cause my hands are shaking with chills. Guess that I found my pit. God, I hope you take me. I'm just living life, I guess a bottle wouldn't break me. Thinking about 1,000 reasons why you probably hate me. And if you pull up, I'll be your biggest fan, shoulda, I'm thinking about the past, and if I would, even stood a chance when your foot was on my dash. No, it only made me crash. I know I shoulda, and be your biggest fan, shoulda, I'm thinking about the past, and if I would.
It's later on in the afternoon. I'm sitting here with a snack, so don't mind the appearance. But we had a really eventful day, a nice little day out of town. Where we went still has a mall and just the nostalgic feeling of walking into a mall. And this one is actually like thriving right now. They're actually like building onto it and adding more stuff. So it's just kind of cool to see since like malls are just like dying out everywhere. So cool. I did stop at Barnes & Noble. I didn't get to the used bookstore in time before they closed, although I did stop at a Goodwill, and they literally had nothing. Like, I went through all their books, literally nothing. But I did pick up 4 from Barnes & Noble. I picked up a copy of Carmilla because I just recently was sitting down going through my collection, and collection, I mean like my like favorite books, and on my Goodreads, like going through like all my 5 stars and even some of my 4 stars, like the books that I would really like to own. And Carmilla was actually one that popped up. And I was like, I don't know why I don't own that. I own like a couple copies of Dracula. So I'm like, I need a copy of Carmilla. And just so happened to see this cover. They actually had a couple different covers, but this one with the bats, so cute. Instant buy. Also, I've wanted the new edition of The Exorcist for so long, but I kept seeing reviews of ordering this off Amazon, which was the only place I could find it, which it's Amazon. But the only place that I could really find this was there, and people kept saying their editions kept coming like, or their books kept coming like damaged. So I was like kind of put off by it. This was the first Barnes & Noble I've found this like in person at, so I thought that was really cool. You know, I probably could have ordered it off Barnes & Noble online too, but anyways, it's one that I don't really think about until I see the cover again. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to find that book. But yeah, it's just so cute. It's so small, but I just loved the cover so much, and that green color. It's so pretty. A recent favorite from last year, it made my top 10, is Black Sheep by Rachel Harrison. My favorite Rachel Harrison yet. I love this book so much. I had to have a copy of it. And then I've been debating on Horror Store back and forth for so long. I still haven't read it, but this is one of my next Grady Hendrix that I'm going to be reading. And Jessica is actually the friend who has recommended me this book over and over again. It's a little bit of a running joke because she was on a cruise and looked over and seen somebody reading this, and she was like, that's really weird that they're reading like an IKEA like catalog on a cruise. And after she found out what it was, she read it, absolutely loved it, and told me I should read it. So Grady Hendrix is one of our authors we have in common, and I almost bought this when we went and met Grady Hendrix at the book signing, but instead I picked up ones that I had read already. So I went ahead and grabbed this, and now I can take my copy from the library back. And speaking of books we have in common and some that we may not have in common, it's going to segue me straight into the review of Big Swiss. I did in fact finish it, and I am treading lightly here. I did already text Jessica, and I said something along the lines of like, I sent the picture of this and I said I finished, and then I just put like this emoji. And she said 10 out of 10, no criticism. And I was like, okay, my lips are sealed. She does not want the criticism for this because this is one of her faves. So if for some reason she does watch this video, you may want to skip this next part. I enjoyed this book. There is a lot of moments I really enjoyed because it was so unhinged and just weird and different. It really is a literary fiction where you're just kind of in this character Greta's bubble, her mind, how she thinks, and it's just different and quirky. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a story where like you're sucked in the whole time. Like you're just like, where is this going? How much weirder can this get? And what is this book gonna accomplish? For me, it didn't accomplish much. I can see where this is like a good like queer awakening or like unhinged queer sapphic read, and 100% if that is your vibe, you'll probably enjoy this as well. I feel like for me, I usually don't really care for romance in general. It really depends. I do prefer this over like a probably a contemporary romance, but at the same time, I am somebody who enjoys more of like a plot and like, you know, something really happening within a book versus the bits where we're getting the quote unquote smut or those scenes. But they're so heavily detailed in this book that there was some moments where I was just like, oh my gosh, like I did not have to be all ears for learning about how their genitalia look. Like it was just very unhinged in that aspect and left me just like, what? Also, this might be mild spoilers, but Big Swiss, the character that Greta is obsessed with, is a gynecologist. And I'm just like, I know it's not okay because like gynecologists are normal people, they do God's work, but like the thought of being with a gynecologist, like I couldn't. I honestly, like, no judgment to anybody who is or anybody who's a gynecologist, but I'd constantly be like, does this look weird? Do I look different? Like, I would constantly feel like, and obviously like we're all unique, it's just an overthinking thing, but that's just like the first thing that came to mind. I'm like, she's like fantasizing about being with this woman and even being with this woman, and it's like, is that not running through your head? Like, she's a gynecologist and like what she looks at like every day, and I don't know. Again, me probably just really overthinking it, but I'm landing at a 3-star. I liked a lot of this. I liked how it really drew me into the story and kept me in the story. Again, I told you guys earlier, I loved the moments of like her hearing a session and then like seeing those people out in the real world and being like, I know you, but you don't know me. I loved those. I loved just the quirky, weird moments. And honestly, I even enjoyed like almost like weird relationship forming in a way that is just so different and like just so out there, and like, could that ever happen? You know, I think that that was so much fun, and also is making me overthink the aspect of like, does every therapist have like transcribers? So like if you go to therapy and you talk to your therapist, somebody else listens in and hears everything you say, like, is that an actual thing? Somebody please let me know. I kind of want that job, but at the same time, I'm like, I feel like that might like keep me away from therapy. Anyways, I enjoyed the ride. I will say that. Like, this first recommendation from a friend was very enjoyable. I had a great time with it. The reason it's getting 3 stars is because I didn't like where the story went in the end. I feel like it kept railing off into just this, a bunch of just random things that I was just like, what? Like, where's the story going now? This isn't that entertaining. I'm kind of starting to get bored. We would get on to like talk about, there was even like talk about, what was it? I can't even remember now. They were looking at, I think it was mini donkeys, like talking about donkeys. And I was just like, this is where the story is wrapping up. Like, we're at the end of the book and you're talking about donkeys. It was just, I don't know. I feel like the ending was just like, let's just make it as random as we possibly can to wrap this up and not have anything really like tie up together or make sense on why we even started this book in the first place. It was just a very weird outro. And that's where I feel like with other elements that I typically don't, not that I didn't mind reading it, it's just not a favorite of mine, I am landing at a 3, but I did have a great time. 10 out of 10 with the journey to getting here. Well, this one wasn't my favorite. I will still be down to read more recommendations from my friend Jessica. Oh, and also thank you to Jessica for the recommendation. I had a really fun time with it. I've also been journaling in my, kind of like a scrapbook style in my journal for my first read from a friend, and I've had a lot of fun with that. I'm going to add little unhinged notes to it, and some of the things that like I will never be able to forget after reading in this. If you guys have read Big Swiss, please let me know your thoughts. Let's try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible in the comments, but you can at least let me know your rating and if this was your go-to, maybe what other books are kind of like this but have more of like a satisfying plot and ending, that would be my jam. I cannot wait to film my next one, but I'm off to do my little self-care night to wrap up this video. And stay tuned if you do like this idea, because I have 11 more friends who have recommended me series, standalones, a variety of stuff that I need to like taste test. And I'm so excited for where this series takes me. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I will see you in my next video.
Silence and between words I try to tie in a text and a call and a driving on top of it all. You were right, I was wrong, you were right. Maybe I'm tired, I've been putting